Software dev is dead. I know, that's a bold statement. And if you're a software developer right now, it probably pisses you off. But hear me out. I'm not saying coding is dead. I'm not saying software doesn't matter. I'm saying the career path that worked for the last 20 years, learn to code, get a dev job, climb the ladder, that path is broken. The layoffs proved it. The salary compression proved it. The thousands of developers fighting for the same shrinking roles proved it. But here's the thing. While software dev is dying, something else is taking its place. A new role that's paying more than software dev ever did. 200K, 300K, 400K, and companies can't find enough people to fill it. I made the switch. That's how I got over 200K a year. No CS degree, but Apple, Meta, Netflix, and Amazon have all reached out to hire me because I stopped being a software engineer and became something else. So let me tell you what that is and why 2026 is the year to make the switch. Why software development is dying? Well, the golden era is over. For 20 years, software development was the path. Basically, learn the code, get hired, make six figures, clear career ladder. Everyone knows what it was. Everyone is pretty comfortable. Who's into space? It's pretty much cut and dry at that place, right? Now, the thing is, the era ended. The market is telling us that's what the market is telling us right now. And here are the signs. Layoffs are hitting dev teams across every major company. Salaries are compressing. Entry-level jobs paying less than 5 years ago. Thousands of applicants for every opening. What changed? Well, AI writes code now, faster and cheaper than humans. So the supply of developers exploded, right? But boot camps pumped out thousands of this, especially the last couple of years, especially during the COVID time as well. Now the value of I can code collapsed because of this new entry of AI. Why is software development dying right now? Well, it's the AI factor, right? What AI does to software development is AI writes boilerplate code. AI debugs simple issues. AI translates requirements into code itself. So the tasks junior developers used to do, the tasks that's where like all the entry points came from. AI could do that right now, right? So here's the uncomfortable truth. Companies need fewer developers to build the same products. The ones they keep need to do more than just write code at the moment. They need to have a skill set that's beyond just writing code because AI already does that. You can take a requirement and actually write that into code. But you need someone to actually make the requirements and make that translation of the business needs and their goals for it into requirements, right? So this is where this is all heading at the moment. So pure coding becomes a commodity, something AI handles at the moment. The value moves to what AI cannot do right now. That's where the value lies. And it's very important for you to understand what that is. What is AI engineering exactly? Well, the definition right now is basically taking AI models that already exist, making them work in production. So LLMs, large language model implementation, RAG, agentic workflows, vector databases. Understanding these things is what's very important for an AI engineer right now. And not building AI from scratch. That would be a researcher. 10 years ago, that's what you had to do. But now there's so many models that exist, we need people to actually implement them. Making AI useful for companies, for business solution, actually solving real problems. Why it's different from software development? Well, software development is basically write code to build products. AI engineering, that's the implementation of AI to build intelligent products. So the skill stack is different. The value is different. So why it pays more right now? Well, every company wants AI, not just the big data companies itself. Every company wants it. Very few people can implement it. That's where the key and the value is. So there's a massive demand for AI and for every industry, but there's limited supply. This is just simple economics right now, supply and demand. Let's go over the salary difference. So software developers' salaries in 2026. So entry level is about 60 to 90K, and it's dropping. Mid-level, 100, 150K, and it's compressing as well. And senior, 150, 200K if you could even get the role these days, right? Because there's thousands of applicants. So basically your leverage, your value is pretty much gone now. Now let's look at the salaries for AI engineering right now. So 200K is the floor if you actually can implement these solutions, these models into a business problem, to solve a business problem and to actually have a business solution for it. Then you have 300 to 400K for more senior roles, and companies are competing for talent because there's very few people who could actually do this right now. So you have all the leverage at the moment, right? The gap is basically the same industry right now, but completely different economics. One is oversupplied, which is software developers right now. And you could see that we had a lot of boot camps over the last years pumping all these out, but one is undersupplied, where every company needs AI engineering to actually solve their business talent, but they're competing for talent. So you have all the leverage at the moment. Why is 2026 the year to switch? Well, the window right now. AI engineering is new enough. The supply is still low. People who are able to do it to supply the solution is very low right now. So, and there's a high demand for it. So most developers haven't made that switch yet because there's a lot of people who believe they'll just pass over or that they think that their skill sets are valuable enough. But basically, the early movers are the ones who get the best opportunities. And here's what's coming. More people will figure this out. Supply will increase and the demand to actually meet this demand that people need AI engineers. And the advantage shrinks over time. But right now, the gap is massive. So here's the thing: if you risk waiting to jump on this opportunity, software developers continues to basically decline or any type of role that involves software development. Basically, it'll be much harder to switch later if you don't have AI skill set. The skills you have lose more value each year, and the better to move now than to scramble later because later on it'll be again supply increase, a lot of other people could do it, so it'll be harder to prove that you could do this work and actually bring impact to companies if there's already a bunch of other people who are doing it and already have experience that they've done it with other companies because they moved earlier and basically jumped on the opportunity. So you want to be part of that group that moved earlier because once you prove that you could do it in the future, they're going to rely on you as opposed to the newcomers. Okay, so you want to be the early adopters or early movers to make sure that you know AI engineering and jump on these opportunities. So you made that decision. What do you do? What are the skills that you need? Well, let's talk about the foundation. Yes, you need to know Python for data, NumPy and Pandas. This could take just a couple of weeks to learn the basics, to learn enough to actually work with it, right? So the main thing is you want to just enough so you can work with the data and the APIs because that's pretty much the standard at the moment. Next, you want to make sure you know the modern AI stack, so LangChain, RAG architecture, vector databases. And then agentic workflows and prompt engineering at scale as well. This is where the money is. Engineering fundamentals. So again, if you're coming from a tech background as a software engineer, that still comes into play here because this is how you work at at real big companies in this case, right? So you need to know Git for source control for your code, Docker to containerize your code and be able to deploy it on other places and also eliminate the basically the saying of like, well, it works on my computer. You want to make sure it works everywhere. And then APIs, because again, we are dealing with models that already exist. You're not making these models. It's not 10 years ago. We're not dealing with basically AI researchers here. The models exist. You need to know how to use the API to actually interact with them. And then cloud basics, because again, once your code works and you're actually solving a problem, you want to containerize that and then put it at scale. And that's where companies will start using cloud to actually put this out and deploy it. So you still need to deploy and maintain these systems. So engineering fundamentals still come into a play. You just have to make sure you're using it with the modern AI stack to become valuable. And here's what you want to skip. You don't need deep math, like PhD level theory. You're not trying to be an AI researcher. You're not building the models from scratch, right? Skip that because models already exist. There's no values in doing that right now. Just use it and focus on implementation, not the research part. A lot of people will be thinking, well, shouldn't I get a computer science degree for this? Well, this is why you don't need a computer science degree. The role is too new right now. There's no degree program for AI engineering. Everyone's self-taught. Companies can't require credentials for something that doesn't exist yet, right? What companies actually want, can you implement? Can you ship and can you solve their problems? Proof of skill beats proof of study. So the advantage of switching right now is your software development experience isn't worthless. As I mentioned earlier, you still need to source control. You still need to containerize it. You still need to deploy and need to know all the AI, how to interact with APIs for the AI models, right? So it isn't worthless. These skills are still advantageous for it. You need to understand the systems. You need to understand how to deploy it. You need to understand production itself and how to align your skills to the business needs to solve the problems and be able to also teach the people, or basically not necessarily teach, but basically explain to the stakeholders what the impact is so they can make an informed decision and interpret that information for them as well. And the other thing is that when you add AI skills on top of what you already know, you're ahead of people starting from scratch. Again, especially with your software development skills and experience right now. People, as you know, it takes a while to learn this stuff, and it's still valuable used in the right context and combination with AI skills to actually deliver and in a real production. That is something that is still valuable. So, how did I make the switch here? So, my background, I didn't have a computer science degree when I started with this. So, my path was not a traditional path. What happened was I saw where the market was heading, especially at the time I was working. I used to work, or still do actually, just implementing AI with it now. So, I have some clients with this in the VFX and AAA games and feature animation, like working on Hollywood films, these projects. And there's some solutions we had to start using and scale up. And that's when we started. That's when I discovered there's AI solutions for this and started implementing that. And I saw where the industry was going with this. So what I did, I basically learned how to implement AI in real productions. And I started using LangChain, RAG, and Modern Stack to solve business problems because the companies were coming to me to solve that. Then I built real projects, not tutorials, actually working things catered to what the business needed. And then I positioned myself for AI engineering, not software developer. Not just that. Of course, I knew those skills, but I needed to position myself to show this. So you position yourself with that. They think of you that way, and you have that mindset. So the results, well, now over 200K a year. You have Apple, Meta, Netflix, Amazon reaching out to hire me during the layoffs because I had what they need. So how could you make the switch? First, step one, accept that software development is changing. Stop hoping it goes back to how it was. The market shifted. So basically you need to adapt. If you're not riding the wave of change, you're going to be swept under it. Step two, learn AI implementation. Learn LangChain, RAG, vector databases, agentic workflows. Focus on making AI work in production. Thing is making it work in solving real problems. That's where the key is, not just doing tutorials. Step three, build proof. Real projects that show you can implement AI. Portfolio of AI engineering work. Step four, reposition yourself. Update how you present yourself. Not software developer, but AI engineer. And step five, target the right roles. Look for AI engineering positions. Stop competing for shrinking software development roles. You might be wondering, or these are the type of things I hear other people say, such as software development isn't dead. I still have a job. Well, for now, but just look at the trajectory and look at where it's going at the moment. And then the other thing is, I've invested years in software development skills. Yes, those skills do transfer. Just make sure you add AI on top of that. And the other thing, in fact, just before I move on to the other thing, that is actually an advantage. Just know that you want to reposition yourself and add AI on top of that. You'll be way ahead, more ahead than people who are starting from scratch. And the other thing is AI engineering is just hype. Well, the salaries and hiring patterns are real right now. And the other, just go on LinkedIn right now and just look at how many people have like innovation lead or AI, added AI to roles that existed before, but they just add a AI component to that part now, right? The other thing is other people might say is that, well, I don't have a computer science degree. Well, neither did I when I started doing this itself, right? The role doesn't require it. They want to make sure you could actually solve the problem. If you could solve the problem they have, they care more about what you can do than what you've studied itself, right? And the other thing is people say like, well, I'm too senior to switch, we can't teach an old dog new tricks. The thing is, again, experience is an asset. Senior AI engineers are rare itself, right? So the other thing is you already have those skills. It's an asset. Just add AI on top of that and you'll be a lot more valuable. It basically boils down to this. You have two paths. First path, stay in software development. Compete with more developers for fewer roles. Watch salaries compress and watch AI take more of your tasks and your work right now, right? And hope it all works out in the future. Or path two, switch to AI engineering. Learn the skills that are in demand right now. Position for the growing roles, not the shrinking ones. Make more than software developers ever got paid in the past, right? So basically, that's your choice. Both paths are available, but one leads to struggle and the other leads to opportunity. What are the next steps? Well, software development as you know it, it's over. AI engineering is what's next. The switch is possible. The skills are learnable. And if you want the exact steps to make that move, you want the skills, the positioning, the path to 200K plus AI roles, then check out the links in the description.